Bring it back.
Hi, welcome to Uncommon Sense with David Mushai. Did you know that every time you watch an episode of Uncommon Sense, an angel grows his wings? In what is inevitably going to be one in a series of episodes on religion, today we are going to talk about National Prayer Days, Kenya's last recourse when things go south.
Today really is not my day. Today is our day together as Kenyans, a day that we have chosen to come together, to give thanks for all that God has done for us, to seek His forgiveness for anything that we may have done wrong.
Granted, Kenya is a country of religious people. Approximately 70% of Kenyans are Christians, about 25% are adherents of indigenous religions, while 6% are Muslims. A tiny minority are Hindus, Sikhs, Parsis, and Baha'is. Despite the predominance of religious people in Kenya, Chapter 2 of the Kenyan Constitution clearly states that there shall be no state religion. This already clashes severely with our national anthem, whose first stanza is a prayer. Why no one thought a change of our national anthem was needed in line with the Constitution is beyond me. But the worst transgression from our leaders is the use of religion as part of their campaign or governing tools.
Lakini leo mimi ningewauliza tuvue kofia tuombe. Maho ya mambo hizo. Mimi niongoze. Acha niombe. Mwenyezi Mungu. Tunakuomba kwa heshima kubwa.
At one such incident, as soon as the president finished praying at a function in Nyeri, it began to rain. This was after a dry spell in the region. And I mean a rain dry spell, not the kind you're thinking about, Monica.
Bwana yangu nikamwambia sijapata kondoo pahali analalanga, akaniambia acha aende huko kwa shamba aone kama iko huko, akienda akapata jamaa akiwa na kondoo huko, anaifanyia mambo mambaya.
So wakati aliulizwa na chief amekosa msichana kwa siku ngapi, alisema amekosa msichana kwa miaka 5.
5-year dry spell is no joke. After that prayer, a lot of people began saying Uhuru is the anointed one of God. And he had to be, right? Remember that chant after 2013 elections? I guess now people have a different view of that, don't they?
Mulituimbisha hapa wimbo ingine hapa tulimba hapa, mimi tulijitolea hapa tetesi uchawi ni maombi. Hii ilikuwa ni uchawi, mulituroga akili tukaimba hiyo wimbo, kwa sababu mtu wowote ana neno la Mwenyezi Mungu, ujinga kama yezi fanyika usiku.
And when Sonko got his court case dropped, looking at the state of Nairobi today, I'd say si maombi.
Ni uchawi, mulituroga akili.
When religion creeps into public office, it becomes a completely different ballgame altogether. In 2017, Rachel Ruto, DP Ruto's wife, joined religious leaders praying to end road accidents at the Salga Black Spot.
The Kenyan Deputy President's wife, Rachel Ruto, today joined Christian faithful at the notorious Black Spot in Nakuru Salga for cleansing prayers. The stretch claims lives almost every week in road accidents, usually involving head-on collisions between public transport vehicles and trucks.
24-25, so the world declares.
That year, 50 accidents were reported along Salga total area, with 138 people dead. Numbers reduced to 23 accidents and 22 demises in 2018, and by October 2019, there had been 19 accidents and 16 deaths. Things had improved. So, had the prayers worked, you ask? No. The accidents reduced due to the installation of what people call the China Wall.
Kulingana na wakaaji wa eneo hili, kuwezekwa kwa kuta hizi katikati mwa barabara kumechangia pakubwa kupunguka kwa ajali.
Tangia serikali waweke ukuta ya kugawanya barabara yote mbili ya kuteremka na kupanda juu. ajali zimepungua.
Practical solutions saved lives.
Magari kutoka upande ile na upande huu mwingine haziwezi kukutana.
Not prayers. Sure, she is not an elected public leader, you'll say, but she's the country's second lady. She goes to bed every night with the second most powerful man in the country.
Wewe umejiappoint kuwa nyapara ya deputy president na wewe umechaguliwa kufanya kazi. Uende ufanye kazi yako ile umechaguliwa kufanya. Kazi yako sio kuwa nyapara yangu.
Oh, sorry I misspoke, Mr. Deputy President. I'm not sure every night is accurate. I'll go mind my own business, but wait, I elected you, so you are my business. If leaders come from God, as the Bible says, I bet citizens ruled by despots like Joseph Stalin, Adolph Hitler, Mao Zedong, and others have some tough questions for God, don't you think? Such religious statements were meant to subjugate citizens under whatever rule they found themselves. If you haven't noticed already, in those days there were no public elections for rulers. In case of the Bible, God himself selected all leaders, as it says in Romans 13:1. But in typical Bible version, God contradicts himself in Hosea 8:4. You can find for yourself. But apparently God could even install bad leaders to fulfill his plans. If so, I wonder what plans God has for our country. Are we being punished for something? We are 3 times more in debt than we were when Jubilee took over power in 2013. The cost of living is up, and for jobs, our youths are busy cleaning the streets.
Ile nataka tu kuomba vijana ni ya kwamba wacha tuchukulie hii kazi ya takataka kwa sababu kuna pesa kwa taka.
There is money in trash? Sure, there is an avenue to a modest living for a few in trash collection, recycling, and so on. But how many of those politicians can say they amassed their wealth by working in trash? Even church leaders know prayers don't work on their direct needs. When a congregant cannot pay her rent, the pastor asks members to pray for her. But when the pastor needs a car or even a private jet, he asks members to contribute money.
You want that 7X? We're believing God for it.
In a video posted to his website last week, televangelist Jesse Duplantis says God told him he needs the new Falcon 7X jet.
That if Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey.
Despite my personal disinclination towards the Bible, I do know in James verse 17 it says, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. We can turn to religion all we want, but without tangible solutions, it's of no use. The problem with mixing state and religion is that our politicians use religion as a ploy to pacify the cries of the citizens. After raiding our coffers dry, they sprinkle some of that ill-gotten wealth onto our church harambees, and we join in a thanksgiving prayer for their generosity. No, we need embezzlers in jail now, not in hell later. Frankly, I don't care if anyone who stole NYS money burns in hell. I want to see them in shackles here on earth. Well, come to think of it, putting them in jail might not work after all. They'll just milk the prison funding dry, then change the rules and abolish all prisons anyway. When tribes are fighting, we need to settle their differences, including historical injustices, so there can be peace, not ask for national prayer rallies.
Prayer is serious business.
To reduce road carnage, we need better roads and better traffic law enforcement, not seek divine intervention on our highways.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
To end COVID-19, we need our leaders to stop squandering public funds and instead use them for what they were meant. Not join a Corinos in a prayer session attended by thousands without masks.
The annual conference, which brings together hundreds of Akorino faithful, has been convened to pray for the country. Among those in attendance include Cabinet Secretary for Health Mutahi Kagwe and Lands Permanent Secretary Dr. Nicholas Muragori.
Sisi kama kanisa, we stand behind His Excellency the President. We stand behind his agenda.
Even without the prayer avenue, there are already enough places for corrupt politicians to hide while conducting rife looting. From bogus awarding of contracts to massively inflated public projects to self-awarding of salary increases and bonuses. Why would our public officials even need prayers? In 2019, Luca Witch wrote this in the Star newspaper. A study by the UK-based Independent Parliamentary Standard Authority and the International Monetary Fund ranked Kenya's legislators the world's second most highly paid after Nigeria. National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has defended the new allowances, saying lawmakers, just like other state officers, are entitled to such benefits. Each of the 416 service leaders received 2.25 million over and above their monthly pay in April, the backdated amount for the contentious allowance. First of all, any list where we come after Nigeria is not a good list. But let's do the math. That's 936 million Kenya shillings, going to slightly over 400 people. If these MPs were as generous as the Bible says they should be, and they donated that money to 100,000 needy families, each family would have received 9,360 shillings a month. That's more than 2 months' rent and groceries for most families. But no, let's forget about that and join for national prayer. I wonder if landlords nowadays accept rent in terms of prayers. Oh, tulienda national prayer day, bwana agent. I think this month rent ni free, sindio?
Umelipa, nakwambia sijalipa. Akaniambia leo ni tarehe ngapi? Nikwambia leo ni tarehe 10. Toka nje.
Sai niko na watoto wangu nje, sijui nitalala wapi. Na landlord ameenda.
I guess not. We need to ask our leaders for accountability, not join them in national prayers. And now, what the fuck did I just say?
Hebu kalia hapa kwa kifikifi. Malikuwa na kifikifi na dereva ya kifikifi. Hiyo mama akashagaa, akaona ajui huyu mtu na ajui dereva ya kifikifi. Akaikalia kwa kifikifi. Akasema, akamwambia nataka nikalia hapa mlipeleke wapi? Siedi. Hiyo mama akapiga duu. Adu makajasa hapo. Akampiga makamwambia nataka kupeleka huyu mama wapi? Akasagaa kuogea. Akasimama hivi. Akapigwa kabisa ni watu hapo.